MLB fan experience, Cincinnati Reds versus Chicago Cubs, April 21st, 2017. Hi, I'm RazMansReality. Welcome back. Always great to see you. And if this is your first time here and you want more unbiased reviews and discussion, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification icon so that you don't miss anything. So for today's video, it's a little bit different because it's not a discussion on something nerdy or geeky or film related. It's a sports discussion sharing video. And this is more or less for myself, for my own prosperity, so I can look back on this and say this was the date that this happened. But it's also a thank you for the guy who made it happen, which is Reds TV announcer Jim Day. And I just wanted to make this video, talk about why this was such a big deal to me, and there might be those of you out there who enjoy seeing it. And who knows, if this goes well, maybe we'll start doing sports related stuff on the channel. I've tried to do it in the past and it hasn't worked out very well, but that was before I learned how to flow and be what I feel is a better success here on YouTube. So who knows? So in order for me to properly tell this tale, I need to give you a little bit of a backstory. I am 37 years old and I've been watching baseball for as long as I can remember. My earliest complete season memory is 1990, which was the last time the Reds won a World Series. That was the last full season I remember. And the man who got me into the sport was my uncle Woody, who has since passed away. He was like my second father, and I became obsessed with baseball thanks to him. And in the era that I grew up on, before MLB blackouts and network contracts and all that became a thing, the Chicago Cubs were featured here in Dayton, Ohio on WGN America, which they are still featured on WGN America along with TSN Chicago. But now, if you don't live in the local Chicago area, you don't get the majority of the games on WGN outside of Chicago. You get very few, so you have to have MLB.TV, which I use, or you have to have the MLB Extra Innings package in order to see the out-of-market games. Anyway, I grew up in an era where I could regularly see the Cubs. So because I would see the Cubs as much as I would see the Reds, I grew up a fan of both teams and had favorite players from both teams, Chris Sabo and Mark Grace being my two all-time favorite players ever in the history of the game, in terms of people that I watched from start to finish play their whole career. As there, I have favorite players now, but that's perhaps a whole other discussion down the line. So seeing the Reds play the Cubs has always been a dream of mine, and something I never thought that I would get to see happen, because as you would imagine, Chicago is fairly close to Ohio. All the Cubs fans usually make the trip up to the series when they play the Reds, and so you can't find a ticket usually for when the Cubs are in town, let alone with my own personal problems, which for those that don't know me well, that basically is the fact that I no longer have a van with a lift. So I cannot get outside of Dayton to go and see a Reds game. So I don't get to go to Reds games, period, let alone Reds versus Cubs. So the way that this all went down was even more special for me. I was simply watching the games, as I always do, and of course learned that the Cubs were coming into town fairly early this year at the end of April. And I just took a shot in the dark because I knew that one of the Reds announcers was a frequenter on Twitter and somebody that interacted with fans on Twitter, and I'd also seen him earlier on that day, if memory serves me correctly, talking to people about the Cubs coming into town and interacting with fans and wanting to know if people were making up the trip to see the Cubs or if they were Cubs and Reds fans, etc. I could be wrong about that, but I swear that's what gave me the idea. At any rate, I had the brainstorm of reaching out to Jim Day, who is the host of Reds Live Postgame and the on-field reporter for all the Reds games on Fox Sports Ohio, and just asking him if there was any chance, because I'd seen other MLB teams do this in the past. I know the Reds have done this in the past, of working with people with disabilities, just to see if there was any shot of me maybe getting tickets. And then by some miracle, not only did he see my message out of all the tweets he might get in a day, but he PM'd me back and asked me for all the necessary information and helped me be able to go down with 4 of my family members, including my little 9-year-old nephew who went to his very first Reds game ever, and we got to see John Lester, arguably one of the best pitchers in the league, if not the best left-hander in the league, period, pitch on this past Friday night. So it's a memory that I will always cherish. It never happens again. At least I got that one opportunity. My dream, of course, is to someday make it to Wrigley to see the Cubs play a game, but that's a whole other story. But for this experience, because of how unexpected and how wonderful a thing it was for Jim Day to do, and like I said, for my own prosperity, I wanted to make this video. So there are a few pictures and 2 videos, and I'm sorry that there's not more to everyone watching this video, but it was harder for me to remember to focus and record video because I was so engrossed in that experience. I made it about myself rather than make it about being a YouTuber, which I did not intend, but it was just sort of what happened. And along with those 2 videos and the family pictures, I do have a picture that I got to take with Jim on the Reds Live post-game set. So I hope you enjoy.
Their baseman, 17, Chris Black.
you so very much for watching. Let me know about your own MLB fan experience if you ever had one, or link me to any video you might have made down below in the comment section. And if you would like to see more unbiased reviews and discussion, then make sure you hit that round subscribe icon right now so that you don't miss any future videos from me. And this has been your RazMansReality Check.